What's happening, Hardscapers? This is episode 243 of the How to Hardscape podcast, where we talk about how you can start and grow your hardscaping business. And on today's episode, we have Jeremiah Jennings. He's the host of the Growing Green podcast. He owns Growing Green Landscapes, as well as just started a bin cleaning company. So we're going to talk to him today about all of those things, as well as his decision to start the new business and go down that rabbit hole with him. But before we get into today's episode, we want to thank our sponsor, Cycle CPA. If you're looking for bookkeeping, accounting, CFO services, reach out to Cycle CPA at cyclecpa.com. Let them know How to Hardscape sent you for money off their services there. And if you're looking for a software to dive into this off season to get ready for the spring rush, check out the How to Hardscape headquarters. Just today, we went live with a bunch of new features in addition to the already existing ones, which include budgeting, estimating, job costing, time tracking, timesheets. We added in new features like chat groups. Every time you create a project, it'll create a chat group specifically for that project so you can document things during that project in one area, archive it for later, or to create your own chat groups with people in your company as well. We have custom forms on certain areas in the software. So for example, if you are clocking in, if you want to add a custom form whenever somebody clocks in for safety checks or anything on the job site. Other HR features like time off requests, reports from employees, and so on there. So we're going to be continuing this feature rollout with our course content area coming into the software, where you can easily assign courses to your employees to help train and onboard them, and a lot more to look forward to in the future with all these features coming soon. So if you're interested, check it out at members.howtohardscape.com, or just reach out to me at howtohardscape on Instagram. And without further ado, let's get into today's episode with Jeremiah Jennings. Today we're joined by Jeremiah Jennings. We just got done doing your podcast there, and it was great to actually catch up after our short few second introduction at Equip or HNA there. And Jeremiah Jennings has his own podcast, Growing Green podcast. One of my favorite segments that you consistently do is the Marriage Monday segments. So that is always entertaining, as it should be. Jeremiah, thanks so much for joining us here.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to be here. Entertaining is a good word. We started that with huge intentions. We're going to bring so much marriage value and grow our marriage and grow our life. And we try to bring that as much as we can, but then also just turns into just me and Savannah. Savannah's my wife. We've been married for 3 years now, and 3.5. And we just turns into us talking about our life and kind of working through things that we're going through. And we try to just put a real life spin on it. So yeah, entertaining is that's a good definition for it.
Yeah, it's always great to kind of hear what other people are going through, especially in the same industry. That's key, I think. And just seeing your perspective of being a business owner and operator in the field, and what that entails, especially with a new family started, and one kid now.
Yep. One kid, Jack. He's one, just turned one a couple months ago.
Wow. So, yeah. Congrats, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Yeah. Time flies, but it's a blast. It's good. It's hard. The entrepreneurship journey is not for everyone. It's not easy, especially when you're trying to, like you said, raise a kid, start a family, grow like that. I would never change anything about the path that we've taken. I would never change one thing. But when I see guys that are 19, 20, 21, and they're growing their business, and they're not too rushed to get married and have kids like that, I'm like, guys, if that's not something that you're like dying to have right now, guys, push through for the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years. Really pour back into your business and take that time, because when you're like, I'm happy where I'm at right now. I'm getting to do I'm spending time with my wife and our son, but it just is what it is. Facts are the facts. What comes with that is you don't get to pour as much time into the business because your family demands that time, and I want to spend that time with my family. I don't want to spend that time all in the business. So if that's my advice to guys that like, if you're 19, 20 and you're going to business, just if you're passionate about your business and you want to take it to new heights and new levels, then really double down on that, pour into it, and give it everything you can in that time.
Definitely. I think we're going to go down this rabbit hole a little bit. But first, Jeremiah, give us
Yeah.
our audience a little bit of a background about you, how you got started in the industry, what was the catalyst to starting your own business in the industry. Yeah, give us a little bit of context here.
Yeah, for sure, man. It was, man, I was in high school. I was homeschooled in high school. So went to private school as a kid, and then ninth grade, my mom decided to stay home. And so she decided to homeschool us, and we homeschooled from ninth to 12th. I would never, ever have changed that for the world. I wasn't too psyched about it when we did it, but looking back on it now, no, I wouldn't change it. It provided me so many opportunities, had a great social life, had a great sporting career in high school, is whatever you want to call it. We had really good competitive basketball teams and played for championships and things, which was fun. But it also allowed me to start work early, and I wasn't tied to a schoolroom 8 hours a day. And in doing that, it really prepared me for the world after high school early on. And so that is one thing that I really take away from that, because all my friends, we were really the only ones that out of my like church the friend group that I've grown up with, that was being homeschooled. And so all of those friends now, they're doing great. They're working jobs. They have families. They're building families, building careers, which is awesome. But I just went on a different path than they did, and I'm happy with where I'm at. And I think a huge role in that is because we were homeschooled, and it allowed me that opportunity. So in that time when I was a junior through high school, I think maybe my 10th grade year, started working with a buddy that was paying his way through college by running a lawn care business. He had bought it from a previous owner that was older and retired. And so he was just paying his way through college with it. I worked with him. And then my senior year, he was ready to graduate college. And so he was moving on in his career. I think he was in his upper level classes. It was his last year of school. He didn't have time to cut the grass and run the business. So he was like, I'm getting rid of it. Do you want it? I didn't know what I was going to do. So I said, sure, let's take it and run with it. I had a super light load of school my senior year. So took it over then and ran it through my senior year. And I went to community college my first year out of school as a freshman, and did 1 year at community college, and then realized it wasn't for me. I wasn't gonna devote the time and the energy into it that I should to actually benefit from it, because I was just too devoted to the business. I had too much time into that. My wife Savannah and I were dating pretty seriously at that point, and so it was just I knew my time was better spent focusing on the business and growing the business, and not just getting that sheet of paper with a business management degree. I was like, I can learn more in the business by actually working in the business every day. And so that I was going to school, and I was doing lower level classes, doing art and English, and I was like, this just isn't. It's not helping me. And I'm not saying that college isn't for everyone. You need to use it in certain career paths, but for me, it wasn't at that time. And so decided to just take that and run with the business then. And then it's just kind of, we haven't looked back since. We've grown. We got married in 2020, which was the middle of COVID. COVID was rampant by then. We didn't even know if we were going to have our wedding, but business was good that year. I think that was, it's a key common point in the trades industry. COVID kind of helped everybody in the trades industry. Everybody was home a lot more. And so they saw what they needed to get done, and they had free money coming to them. So why not? And so we were very, very busy that year. We relocated to the other side of town when we got married. And so I had to kind of transition my service area, because in lawn maintenance, you can't be driving up to an hour. We were just talking on our show, like you have a little more leeway because you're doing more on-site projects. You're there for the whole day, things like that. So you drive in the morning, you're there, and then you leave in the afternoon. For us, we're running around all day from yard to yard. So we cannot drive an hour at a time. We would never make any money. And we moved about 30 minutes from where we were. So the last 2 to 3 years have really been a transition process of weeding off clients from our old service area, bringing on new ones in our new service area. So that's been a process in and of itself, is trying to get known more on this side of town, and then also knowing when to drop those ones on the other side, because a lot of those customers were our very first. They were the ones that got us to, like, they helped us build a business. So it's hard to let those go, but at the same time, like, our business comes first, not like I have to make money. I got to put food on the table. And so driving 30, 45 minutes, it just doesn't make sense. We're not making the money. And so we're working through that now, but that's really been the last couple years in a 5 minute span there. We've hired guys, fired guys, and so we're trying to focus on that really heavy this year on building a team correctly. And yeah, I along that journey, the last big thing that happened was I got my hand caught up at a hedge trimmer in 2021, which was pretty rough, and so that put me out of the field. That kind of taught me delegation sooner than what I wanted it to, but I think it helped me a lot as well. So yeah, there's a whole lot to go into there, but yeah, that's kind of the rundown.
Nothing like a kick in the butt to learn a little bit of delegation.
Exactly.
Is everything okay with your hand now? Any
Yeah.
long-term effects or anything like that?
I mean, the longest term is I'll have arthritis. I can't have feeling. I don't have feeling in a couple of them, but they're all attached. They all move. They don't all move correctly, but they all move. So yeah, it when it's cold outside is when it hurts the worst. When it gets cold because they put a screw in one, so it hurts really bad when it's cold. It feels like somebody's got a set of pliers just wrenching down on it. But other than that, it's all good. It don't affect me too bad. So
At
very
least you
very
don't live in
blessed.
Toronto.
Exactly. Shoot, when it gets 45, 50 outside, I'm like, oh man, this hurts bad.
Oh, geez.
We had last Christmas, I think it was that Arctic blast for everybody, I think across the country. We had that like 1, 2, 3 degree weather down here.
Right.
That was rough. I just stayed inside the whole time. I didn't even
Oh,
go
yeah.
outside.
Wow, man. Jeez. Um, yeah, I've heard you talked about that story on other podcasts there, and that's um is always a difficult thing to hear. Anything that I guess any good that came of it, or any learning experiences that you could kind of pass down to somebody just starting out in the industry as far as like safety goes, or anything in your business there?
Yeah, the safety, I mean, it's hard. It's very hard to when you're getting started to have somebody with you at all times. Because you typically don't have the work for that. You're just
Right.
trying to go out and hustle yourself and work solo, which is fine. But if you're doing that, guys, you need to have somebody on standby that you can hit speed dial and call if you have to. Because and you need to stay tight. I wouldn't get too far away from your like where your close knit people are. Because I was blessed to have somebody with me that day. Would I have survived if I didn't have somebody with me? Yes, it was just my hand. I wrapped it up. I could have driven myself if I had to, but it was nice. Like I had somebody with me to make sure I didn't pass out. Like guys, if you don't like blood and something like that happens, you're going down in an instant. Like blood was everywhere, and so it was. If you don't, like I said, if you don't like blood, you're passing out, and then you literally you could bleed out sitting there. And so
Right.
that is a huge thing you need to consider when you are working solo. Um, that's a risk you take is when you're out there by yourself. Like you run a chainsaw through your thigh or nick an artery or something. Like guys, I hate to go there and go so deep so fast, but like you could end up dead on a job site because of that. And so think about that when you are out solo. But yeah, the safety, mine was it was a brand new battery operated hedge trimmer, and it was just a standard like 22 inch, and I've always used pole trimmers, and so the muscle memory of holding onto that pole with one hand and holding the motor with the other, this was the first time I'd ever used the new short standard size ones. So with these you just put your hand on the handle right above the motor, and so you're good.
Right.
Well, the muscle memory of grabbing that pole, I went to turn it on a shrub sideways, and I went to grab the pole to adjust my hand, and it just went straight through it. So that's kind of how it happened. But yeah, I mean, just keep both hands on the trimmer. People will say, "Why weren't you wearing gloves?" Gloves would have made it a lot worse, honestly, because these were brand new. It would have just like filleted it more. It would have just chopped it up, and so and then I would have had glove fragments down in my hands and things like that. So I mean, yeah, I guess you could wear gloves if you're going to wear like some bulletproof gloves or something, some like
Right.
Kevlar gloves. But if you're just gonna wear like your standard yard gloves, it's going through it no matter what.
Right.
So, I mean, those are learning points, and then the delegation thing is huge. I was not I was not equipped to delegate at that point. My team wasn't. I would not train them right, but it forced us to. And what I learned through that was we survived. They were able to get the work done. Was it as good as me? No, but our customers stood true. The ones that dropped us, and we moved on. Like they weren't the right customers for us anyway. So we learned delegation early on, and that's something that, guys, if you're looking to scale, not even scale to some $10 million company. If you want to add a crew or two and you work in the office, you have to learn delegation really, really quickly. And because if you don't like, you have to realize you are the one that's probably in your own way. It's not your employee. Like if your employee messes up, ask yourself what you did wrong. You probably didn't train them correctly. You didn't equip them the right way. And when you stop casting blame on your employees and not finding good people and things like that, and you look at yourself and you say, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong in the hiring process? How did I not train them to be able to do this on their own if they have to? That's when you really learn and you grow. And so through that, I learned like I didn't do my job. I did not have proper systems and processes in place. And so, did we survive? Yes. Was it pretty? No. But it did tell it taught me that moving forward, we have to put things in place to better equip our guys, and I have to trust my guys. That's a huge thing. So
Yeah, that's a good story to hear on the other side of it. That you knowing that you're okay and kind of give a little bit of safety precaution to guys just starting out or one man shows out there that
yeah.
are in the field for sure. Going back, well, actually, now you've also purchased a new business, right?
Yeah. You talking about the trash can?
Yes.
Yes. So we started that one. We did not buy into a franchise or anything. So we started that from the ground up. We started that back in September. Well, we technically got it established like in May, but there was a process just getting it built and things like that. But we started cleaning cans in September, and so it's just kind of been a slow process. It's not a thing where we are here. The market is not there, so we're just trying to build the market, trying to educate. But what it is it's a local residential trash can cleaning company. We have a lot of neighborhoods with a lot of trash cans who have to be kept either in the garage or right next to the garage, and so that's kind of our target market. The competition is gonna come up over the next years. I know it, so we're just gonna try to get in on the ground floor and build a reputation. We started in September. I think 2 or 3 weeks later, another company started up right behind us here in our same city. So it's going to be, I mean, it is what it is. Like other companies are going to start. But the way that I look at it is like, hey, I do lawn care. There's 100 other lawn care companies within 10 miles of me. And we do fine. There's plenty of work to go around. So as many yards as there are, there's as many trash cans or more. So
Right.
we're just going to try to establish a market and do what we do best and kind of grow it that way.
Is so did you buy it or did you actually like start it from the ground floor there?
No, we started it from the ground floor. We did not buy
Oh,
it. Yeah.
gotcha,
We did not
gotcha.
buy into a franchise. So, um, we everything we did was kind of homemade. I found a local welder that could fab it up for us and do that side of it. And so it's just been everything that I've ever learned, I've taught myself or learned from YouTube or podcast or something like that. It's the exact same thing with this. I asked some people some questions, watched some YouTube videos, got around the right people, and kind of just taught myself this. And I don't have it all figured out by any means. There's definitely a lot more efficient ways to do it, but it's very low overhead right now. While there is no market established, we're just going to try to grow slow and grow steady. My goal is to really streamline the lawn care business this year to get me out of the field some more to be able to put more time in sales for the bin cleaning company.
Gotcha. So my question to you is why start another service business? What was the thought process behind that as opposed to, I don't know, like doubling down on the podcast side of the business or like the media side of the business, which would be maybe like going deeper into YouTube or the podcast more or anything like that. Why go through like another service business and start that?
It's a good question. I think my answer in that is it's kind of twofold. One is it's sellable,
Yep.
and two, and I guess the thing is like honestly, media businesses are becoming more and more sellable, whether you like it or not. They are. I was watching a reel yesterday. It was a meme page on Instagram had 15 million followers, and that page sold. Yeah, have you seen this?
No, I haven't.
Okay, they have 50 million followers. It's a
Yeah.
meme page. It's strictly what it is. Take a guess at how much you think it sold for.
If it was strictly a meme page, I wouldn't think it would sell more than like 150,000, but I don't know.
Do you
I
want
would
to know the real
assume
answer? That's a good
larger.
guess. That's a
Yeah,
good guess.
like a
85
million.
mil.
85. Wow.
85 mil.
That
Somebody
is
bought that for.
wild.
So
Is there anything that goes with that, or just the Instagram page?
I don't remember. It was a 60 second
That's
reel
crazy.
that I watched, but yeah, it was I was like, holy cow. And I have seen email lists sell as well.
Right.
So the social media side is changing every day. Building that brand, it is sellable if you do it the right way. But the service business for me was I picked this particular one because the service is easy. It's not very in depth. You literally are taking a dirty trash can and you're making it clean. And so it's extremely scalable. Once we have a market here and we can get lead gen in and we can close customers, the moon is as high as we can go because I can put people in place that are high schoolers that want some work or whoever. I can teach them and we can put a train. It's very easy to build a training process, training manual. They can watch a video. This is how you do it and go from there. And so that's kind of why we chose the can route. Am I super passionate about cleaning trash cans? Of course not. I don't know that anybody is, but it's very easy. It's a low cost entry. Once we have the market, we can upgrade to bigger trucks and equipment that do cost more, but that comes with demand. But then also, like I said, it's sellable. I'm very open. My goal with the can business is 8 years, build it and turn really good revenue and then sell it down the road. So that's kind of the goal with that. Why I chose to go that route. The YouTube social media side, I still spend a lot of time in that. I don't know. I haven't figured out my full niche yet in that, and so I think that's something I'm still trying to work through is like figuring out what that looks like for me. There's a lot of guys in the green industry that are doing stuff that are putting out courses and resources and training programs and all of that, which is I'm happy for. Like I use those. I buy those and use them. So, but I don't just want to be another one of those. I don't want to be just a copycat of a big guy who's trying to do that. And so, a lot of my friends, they're friends to me now, and so I want to create my own lane. I'm not sure what that looks like yet. We're sticking with the podcast pretty strong. I enjoy doing the podcast. We've done it for 2.5 years now. And so we're trying to just really focus on that, grow that the best we can. But the bin cleaning was the best way for me to get my hands in another source of revenue that will be sellable in 5 to 10 years.
I just want to take a break from today's episode to talk about our sponsor, Cycle CPA. You may have a CRM or project management software in place, but what data are you using to ensure your estimating is accurate? Having a proper accounting setup and accurate bookkeeping done is key to understanding overhead expenses and other costs that must be recouped in your estimates. Cycle CPA is a remote bookkeeping and CFO firm that helps to connect the dots from the financial reports to the hardscape and landscape data needed in order to reach high profits. They provide landscape and hardscape industry benchmarking, job costing financials by service line, advisory meetings, and much more. Cycle CPA's team of accountants are specialized within the hardscape and landscape industry, and you can visit them at cyclecpa.com, and for $200 off, mention the How to Hardscape podcast. Now back to our episode. Yeah, I thought it was really interesting hearing you talk about the bin cleaning business. And like my thought process on everything that I do is that nowadays it has to serve both businesses. And that's why like YouTube really served my hardscaping business to be able to explain to clients what we're going to do. So I thought it was interesting that you find when you started the business, did you reach out to all your lawn care clients and offer them that service? And were you able to kind of start that business confidently knowing that you could get some of your lawn care clients into that service?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I did market to them and sent them some emails and things. There'll be a bigger push for that in the spring. So we started in September, which is kind of a bad time to start. I didn't think it would be as seasonal as it is because as far south as we are, we don't get terribly cold, but I think it is going to be a pretty seasonal business as far as signups go, not the actual service, but the signups, because people sign up when they walk to their can and it hits them in the face. And it's like, whoa, this is bad. That happens when it's 100 degrees outside. I think our signups will really come in the summer. And so in doing that, that's when we're going to grow the most, I believe. And so we kind of hit it. We started in downtime, so our signups haven't been crazy, but I hope to hit it harder in the spring when it does heat up, and do it that way. So yeah, we did market to our customers. Like I said, our current customers, we have a great email list there, but we just didn't have a ton of signups to start. So I think we're going to hit it hard again in the spring when it gets warmer, and try to get some more of those in there. But we have had a few sign up for the service. So, and it's the thing is like you have to, it's a very niche thing as far as like you have to be somebody who lives in the woods isn't going to get their trash can cleaned because they don't ever get around it. It doesn't affect them. But
Right.
these ones in these neighborhoods where they have to keep it in their garage or next to their garage, they're walking around it all the time, then those are the ones you're going to get signed up. And so we have a mix of those customers. We have customers with the big acreage properties that their trash can sits at the end of the driveway and never comes up the driveway. So they're not going to pay to have it cleaned. But we also have a mix of these neighborhood yards. So I think that the signups will increase from our customer list. The more that we do it and get out there in the springtime, I think it will increase from them.
I feel it's unique enough that if a neighbor sees their neighbor getting it done, that they'll ask questions about it, right? Have you experienced that at all?
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
uh we have done very good in our Facebook groups. That's how we get a lot of business.
Yeah.
And so we will go do a can and then give let the customer have a discount or give them something, a gift card or something for them to post a post about us in their local community Facebook group, like the neighborhood Facebook group.
Yeah.
And so that is a different way. It's the same principle, but it's digital. It's technology. It's the day we live in. It's that people see their neighbor talking about it. And so that's how the best word of mouth has helped for us. Now the ones like you're saying, the actual physically seeing the neighbor come out, those are good interactions. You just have to kind of plan your day to when people are home, which means you have to be out from 4 to 7 p.m., which is like I don't ever
Right.
want to be working that time, but
Right.
that's going to come with it. I think when the days get longer in the spring and the summer, we will definitely work some of those hours, especially out in the neighborhoods when the kids are out running around and things like that. We want to be seen in there, and so we will move kind of later in the day to getting those cans clean. But right now, it gets dark at 5 o'clock, so we're having to clean cans by between 12 and 5 p.m., which is everybody's typically at work at that point, so nobody really sees unless it's the older couple. And even the old, like it's the demographics of this business is crazy. You're not going to have a huge older audience from what I've seen, because that older audience they were raised differently. They were raised by parents that were neat and clean, and they bag all of their trash. Everything is in a bag. Everything is down in the can, so their cans don't get dirty.
Right.
Whereas the 35 and younger with young kids, and they're running sports and left and right, fast food in and out, throwing things out of the car. Like everything gets thrown in a can, whether it's loose, bagged, food, drink, whatever it is, it just gets thrown in there. And so those are the cans that get absolutely disgusting. And
Gotcha.
so though, like the demographics are kind of just wild, kind of seeing this play out in that fact of like, you can't really go to an older neighborhood and try to get a bunch of cans because they do it like they keep it clean. They don't let it get dirty. So that it's been weird learning those demographics, but it is something I think is going to turn true.
That is interesting. And being first to market must also be challenging and very interesting coming from lawn care, which I'm sure you weren't first to market in your immediate market.
Definitely
there.
not. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely not.
Any challenges that you know how to overcome from being first to market for the trash cleaning business, or any challenges that you don't yet know how you're going to exactly educate, like you said before?
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. The biggest thing right now is I don't know what form of marketing I want to really hit hard.
Right.
And because it's not a people are not searching for trash can cleaning.
Right.
People are actively searching for lawn care companies, grass cutters, landscapers. So all you have to do with this business is you boost your SEO, you make a really good website, you put these things in place, and then when people search it, you come up at the top. But they're actively searching for the can cleaning. There is no active search. There is no one searching Google for a can clean company yet.
Right.
And so for us, it's like we're having to create content. We're having to try to get on these platforms and get in front of their eyes and make them realize this is even a service near them, which is why I say that about the competition. Like, I'm not really worried about the competition because they're just going to help us grow the market. Like, there's plenty to go around. There's plenty. And so the competition, there's two ways to do it. There's a homemade way, which is what we did, and then there's a franchise model way, which is those trucks are $140,000, the trailers are $75,000. Like, it's a very large investment to get into the business. And so that's the route that the other company went. And so like their branding, their reputation, their everything is very color coordinated. It looks good. So I'm like, more power to you, honestly. Like, more power to you. You go grow the market. We'll be here with you along the way, and we'll take off. I think at the same rate, because we're going to have our online presence in place. And so we might not be seen around the neighborhood like they will be, because their branding is different, but our online presence is going to be in place. We're going to have content created. We're going to go to local networking groups, things like that. So it's going to be interesting. It's not going to be easy. Like, but I knew that coming in. I got around different people who have can cleaning companies. They say, like, guys, it takes 3 to 4 or 5 years for you to really get a good customer base in place. It's not going to happen overnight. You think it would. You think like, oh, this is easy. Like, I can go do this.
Right.
It's not that easy. Like, can you clean the can? Yes. If you don't know how to run the business and actually sell and market and things like that, then you're going to be in a rough place in 2 or 3 years.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's always interested me hearing you talk more and more about that business, and I look forward to following along and seeing where that takes you with the lawn care business. Where did you start getting the leads, and where did you build the company to now? Where are you getting the leads? Have you noticed a big change where those are coming from?
Ours has mainly been word of mouth, if I'm being honest, up to this point, and I think that's the majority people out there, I would say, is word of mouth is the best way of marketing. Is it the only way of marketing you should be doing? Absolutely not. But is it the most effective? To me, in my opinion, I think it is, because you have a warm referral, someone who says, hey, they did great for me. If they are a friend to the person they're referring to, that friend trusts them, they're probably going to go with you. As long as you're not astronomically priced, they're probably going to use you over the random person that they go find on Facebook. So that's been the best for us. We're in local networking groups. We get some pretty good leads from that, just other business owners and who have contacts and email lists and things as well. But our marketing this year, we did Christmas light installation. We ran Facebook ads, and we had a really, really good return on that. That's something that I think is a little different. Like, again, it's a unique situation. One thing that I always say is business is not a one size fits all. You have to find what works for you, what works in whatever area you're doing. And for us, like, Christmas lights is a very short window. It's 35, 40 days of people actively like, I want Christmas lights. I want them hung up. They're searching very hard, very quick. And so you have to be fast to reply. You have to be on top of things. But running those Facebook ads, we generated probably 50 to 60 leads in that time on a very, very small budget. Like, we did not spend a bunch of money. We might have spent, I'm pretty sure we spent less than $700 for the whole campaign.
Wow.
And so, and we closed one Christmas light job, you're going to make that $700 back.
Right.
And so it's like, that worked extremely well for us. Now, will that work at the same rate for lawn care and landscape? I don't believe so, because people are not actively searching the way that they are for Christmas lights in that short period of time.
Right.
So it is literally, it's not a one size fits all. There's not one answer that's going to go change your business and going to bring you in 1 million customers. You just have to, it's trial and error. Get around people. Don't reinvent the wheel. I will say that. Get around people who have found something that works for them and follow their footsteps, because like, you can see what works. So go find what works for you.
So Christmas lights, how do you find time to do Christmas lights? Is it at a point in the season where there's a lull where you go from weekly to bi-weekly modes? You can fit that in your schedule, or like, explain, because I've tried to wrap my head around Christmas lights, and I don't think they work in my hardscape business model. But especially, like, how do you squeeze that in? I'm very curious about.
So that's actually something that we're going to have to really figure out next year. This was our first year that we actually had real success with it. This is our third year doing it. first year we did like 3 or 4. Like we did not do hardly anything that year. I literally ordered material, got my feet wet. Last year I think we did 12 or 13. This year we did 30. And so we've just kind of slowly increased. I don't want to grow much faster than that in Christmas lights. So we did 30 this year. And if I'm being totally honest and transparent, our maintenance side lacked because I didn't have the manpower to send to both. But the
Right.
Christmas lights have to, like, they're on a timetable. They have to get done. Like,
Yeah.
people don't want the Christmas lights put up December the 15th. They want to put up like the beginning of December. And so at the latest. And so pretty much the whole month of November, the first week of December, we would do 1 or 2 days, 3 days of Christmas lights, and then 1 or 2 days of maintenance. The way our maintenance works here is we do go to biweekly by this point. The grass is done. We're done cutting grass. We're just doing strictly leaf cleanups. So we can get by with skipping a week of leaf clean because our leaf cleanups are different. All of our leaves fall at a slower rate. So like it's December, end of December, we still have leaves on trees. And so we do our leaf cleanups continuous. We just go on a bi-weekly schedule and we mulch the leaves up. We can just continue to keep the yard blown off and cleaned up that way. We don't do one massive cleanup like the guys up north do. And so what we would do is we would one week we might have to push a yard or two to the following week. And so we did get I lost some money on maintenance because we had some stuff that didn't get done as often as it could have been done because we were doing the Christmas lights. And so next year, knowing that we're pretty much going to be going in with 30 rehangs, that's not counting anybody that comes on new, then I know next year that I can now go into it with an extra person staff to keep the maintenance going.
Right.
And so that's something that we'll hopefully fix next year. This year, it is what it is. It's the cost of doing business, I guess. Trying to diversify there. So we did good in Christmas lights. So I'm very happy with what we did this year. Next year, we will bring an extra person on staff to help us keep the maintenance going while one crew is doing Christmas lights. So that's kind of how we're going to manage it.
Yeah, I feel like it's dictated by however many people you have on staff for your maintenance, and that's like you can kind of calculate your capacity for how many Christmas lights you can do because you wouldn't bring on somebody on staff for a month to help you with that, or maybe you would. I don't even know how you would.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes people do.
Yeah.
People go get somebody from a roofing crew.
Okay.
They'll get a roofing crew that isn't doing a roof that month or something.
Yeah.
And they love being on roofs. They're fine with. They're comfortable. And so they'll let them run and gun for a month or month and a half, and then they'll let them be done. So it kind of just depends. And some people hire them on for like November, December, January, do like 3 months because the takedown happens in January.
Gotcha.
So they'll keep them on for January as well. The takedown is a much smoother process. I mean, it took us, I don't know, a month to get them all up, and then that's not every single day. That's not 5 days a week, but we'll say a month to get them all up total. Of working 2 or 3 days a week, they'll all 30 will come down in 2 days probably. So like it does not take long to pull them down. So, yeah, but I mean that's kind of how you can manage it is just add people for your maintenance if you need to. If you know you're going to grow the Christmas lights, if you know you're going to get the leads in, then bring on an extra guy. Bring on a teenager that's out of school or a college kid that's out of school, maybe. You just got to find what works for you in your market.
Yeah. Do you take payment up front for the entire put up and pull down when you put them up?
Yes. Yeah. We
Gotcha.
get paid all in one. So we don't everything is paid with one check. We don't do draw or 50-50 or anything like that. So
and then do you do like designs or do you have like a standard package that clients choose for that and colors or anything like that?
Yeah, there's a lot of different options. So there is like some design software that you can use for iPad and phone and stuff. It's nothing too crazy, but it'll at least give the client an outline, a perspective of what it would look like. And roofs. There's so many different options. You can go across the top ridge line, the gutters, the peaks, there's a lot of different options. So I'll be honest, my first, because I don't like being on roofs any more than the rest of us. And so I'm very particular in the clients I pick that I take on. I don't take on anything that I'm not like pretty comfortable with working on. And in those, if I am going to take on something that's a little sketchy, I'm going to send them the package that I'm the most comfortable doing. So I'm going to send them the gutter line, the peaks, and maybe up and down the sides or something like that. I'm not going to get all over the top of the ridge. I'm not going to go crazy. So I'll send them that package, and if they like that, and I know I'm going to make good money on it, we're going to rock with that one. If they ask to add more on, then we'll add more on and we'll do it. But I typically just send a kind of a base to medium size package and see what they like, and we just go from there. So, I mean, I lay it out for them, give them an option. If they want to add on, we add on. If they want to take away, we can take away. We can get it all the way down to just doing the front gutters, which is I'm fine with because we're in and out in an hour, hour and a half, and moving on to the next one. So,
are they your lights or do they own them?
yeah, we do a rental method.
Yep.
So there are a lot of guys that do the purchase method. I stay clear of it because for me, it's a lot easier to say, hey, we're going to rent you the lights. We're going to provide a full warranty on everything. We're going to offer service for anything that breaks. Anything that's on the roof is going to break. We're going to fix it within 24 hours while they're up on your house. We're going to store them for you. Everything is going to come out. If it come out of storage next year and something's broken, you're going to get a brand new one. And that's the value that we offer them. And so it's a lot easier for me to do that and say, hey, the price stays the same every year. It stays the same. It's never going to increase. It's not going to decrease either. It's just going to stay the same. And whereas with owning, when you get into that world, like the first year you put them up and they quote unquote pay for the lights, and then the next year it's going to be a cheaper price. So that's one thing you got to keep up with is like every year you got to remember, oh, who bought these lights and what's the price? What's the price going to be this year? It's not going to be what it was last year. Whereas with rental, all I have to do for my rehangs, go back to the invoice from last year, copy, paste, send, boom, you're done. But so you got to change the price. And then when they're their lights, when the lights belong to the owner, when they're up on the house, whose job is it to go fix it if something breaks? Right. They're your lights. They're not mine. Like, I don't know that you store them correctly. I don't know what you did to them. That's not my problem. I'm just here to hang them. And so you get into some really dicey situations there where you're having to go out and fix lights for somebody that they own their lights. Like that just doesn't make sense to me. And so the rental with me also, like, people like renting. I think they just, you rent, you don't own. Like we talked about that in your show, like you rent your equipment. Like for them, a lot of owners don't want to get stuck with it. They don't want to get stuck with these lights they have to keep up with. They just want to rent them and let them go back and have them. Like it's the most seamless thing they could ever do. They go to work one day. We come put the lights up. They come home. The lights are up. They give us a check and the world moves on. And then start of January, they go to work. They come home and they're down. They don't touch them. They're on a timer. Like they do nothing. If something goes out, they call us, say, hey, a light's out. We come fix it. And so that's the value in it. When people ask this, I say, we provide you're paying for a service, not a product. The same way that you pay for a service when I cut your lawn, you're not buying my lawnmower that I cut your lawn with. You're paying for the service. Right. So do we have to have lights to do this service? Yes. But that you're not paying for those lights. You're paying for the service that we offer you.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's always been an interesting business model that I just can't wrap my head around in my business, but it's interesting to see how others fit it inside of their business. So
if you can make it work, man, if you're not scared of heights or find people that aren't scared of heights, it's a very good model to get into. You can turn a lot of cash in a very short period of time. I mean, we don't do that much revenue, but I know people that add $150,000 in a matter of 6 weeks. There's a huge market for it. If you can stomach the heights and have the time to do it, then you can do something really good with it.
Well, that's the other problem. I'm afraid of heights. So,
well, there you go. Not for you then.
Well, Jeremiah, I asked this final question that I ask every business owner that I have on the show to kind of wrap things up here, to put you on the spot a little bit. And that is, what is one thing you know now that you wish you knew from the very beginning? It could be personal related, business related. That could be lawn care, Christmas lights, the trash can cleaning business. Obviously, you got a lot on your plate there. But Jeremiah, what is that one thing you know now that you wish you knew from the very beginning?
Oh, that's tough. How I think it would be how important relationships are. It's you go into it and you think you're going to conquer the world, and a lot of guys think you're going to conquer the world on your own. You're not. You have to have relationships, and you have to have people along the way that are going to help you. And when you're 19, 20, you think you can do it all, and you just at the end of the day you can't. You will burn yourself out. You will end up in a casket somewhere, and your family will be unhappy, and you will be unhappy. Your wife will be unhappy because you try to do too much on your own. Get around people who can help you help you thrive, help you succeed, help you grow. Surround yourself with people that are always doing bigger and better than you are. Try to never be the smartest person in the room, because when you do that, your ego gets a little too high. If you are the smartest person, dumb yourself down a little bit, get in a room where people are teaching you how to do things, and you'll see your knowledge exponentially grow.
Excellent way to wrap things up. Jeremiah, where can our audience go find out more about you? Where do you want to direct them to?
Yeah, man. Growing Green Podcast on all major podcast platforms is where you can hear our show that releases Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Like you said, our Marriage Monday show is just me and Savannah coming on and talking about our everyday life, marriage principles, things like that, things we're going through as young parents and business owners as well. And then on Instagram and all the other socials, it's just Growing Green Landscapes.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. Once again, reach out to Cycle CPA if you're looking for bookkeeping, accounting, CFO services. That's cyclecpa.com. Let them know How to Hardscape sent you for money off their services there. And if you're looking for a software to dive into, the How to Hardscape headquarters, which will help you budget, estimate job costs, time track, and so much more, including training and onboarding your employees with the courses that we've got and many more to come here that we're building out with this resource. So if you're looking to get into this, reach out to me at How to Hardscape on Instagram or members.howtohardscape.com, and let's get this ball rolling for this spring season. And we look forward to meeting with you next week on the How to Hardscape podcast.